Hey there guys, how you doing? This is Ice9 and we're doing another Madden Mobile video. No promos to cover this week. Don't really draft is finishing up. I hope that you guys got Garrett and Davis and whatever players that you wanted out of that. That was definitely a very, very cool promo. I mean, I've gotten 3 starters out of this, so I can't really complain about that at all, with Fisher being that awesome set. And then, Davis has been phenomenal for me. And this has just been great. And obviously, Garrett and Thomas, I got 4 of them, man, on my team. That's pretty good. It's pretty good when you can get 4 starters out of one promo, and, I potentially could have had more than that. So no complaints there. Ultimate Legends for the week. I'm not even going to cover this. I'm really not, for obvious reasons that I've talked about before. Things that I've disliked about the way that the EA did the set versus the pull-only boss card. Not even going to talk about it at this time of the year. Just whatever. It's more the same garbage from EA, as far as Ultimate Legends for this week. So that's all I'm really going to say. Not even going to give them a proper review. It's just not even worth it for me. So we're going to go through, though, and we're going to do something that some people like. We're going to play 3 head-to-heads here. All right, so not a darn counter hit. Isn't that just special? But that's the way it works sometimes, That is something about this game, If last year, if your counters didn't hit, well, that's because you picked counters that your opponent didn't run plays against. That means that you had to change your counters. You had 10 of them. This year, you got to wait for your softies to fire or not, or whatever the case may be. So it's just a different type of thing altogether. There's Vic and his neat little roll right thing. And I haven't played this guy before, so we'll see what is going on. That was really more of a throwaway. Right when he got there at the quarterback, I timed that because I knew that was a medium or low severity counter on curls flats. Try to roll out of it and throw the ball away. In that case, I just waited till the lineman was right up to him. I wasn't even looking at a receiver. All right, so 20% against the short pass. He rushes. Whoa, he was coming. But that allows me to get a bit more of a gain out of it. Coming on the blitz. And Gurley in the flat. Now I'm noticing here and there, I've seen some offline long balls with Vic that I wouldn't get with Favre or Elway. On kind of these straight patterns like HB option, IDIG, plays like that where they just seemed really, throw wasn't in line and wasn't very good at all. Not good throws. So, whatever. All cards have their weaknesses and strengths. Good play. All right, I'm going to try Y stick. Yeah, it's not countered. And get a nice little gainer out of it. And that looks like a counter. Not a counter, maybe. Yeah, it was a counter. 17% against the run, eh? That's not very strong. Try to run bunch here. Cut back. And nice little shed tackle on his own by Dorsett. Try curls. Get the good look. They do not blitz quickly. Get it to wide receiver 1. before the corner turns around, and now we got to try to match his conversion. That is a counter. Oh, we clipped the pylon to get the conversion, 40%. All right, so talk about running for the pylon. That is definitely what I did. Interesting plays. You know, got some proficiency out of that. That's hard to hit a Gronk on motion cross like that. Requires good timing. We got somebody with some skill. Fumbled snap. Wow. On a critical. Can't even see what the play was. Wow. Don't see that very much. Just a fumbled snap. As a matter of fact, I don't know the last time I saw that message. Just a fumbled snap. Interesting. And I don't recall playing this guy before, too. That was a dangerous kick. Hightower is the man in our league championship. I'll actually show off the drive. It was unbelievable. Hightower absolutely got me in the league championship. One with the recovery on the 2, and one with the recovery in the end zone by Peters. Perfect kick, right on the 1-yard line, and then just, you know, corner, kind of a coffin corner type kick, and then but it laid right there in the end zone, and he was the first to get to it. Batted ball. I should have put more arc on that because the coverage came. I'm going to go straight to that spread FL drag. I got to get a lot of that back. And there's critical. 20%. Go to the short guy. We're going to go trips. Tight end stick. Barely didn't get there on the coverage there. Let's try mixing in a run. And there's that. We're going to go nice and direct with another run. And we do get the first down. I'm going to try Y-stick. That's counter. %. Well, we tried. I'm going to try double slants yet. Sorry, just getting home from work. So once again, in these long odysseys of drives with short passing, being a Bill Walsh disciple, I don't have Bill Walsh's brain, so forget what plays I ran. Definitely recommend that you guys watch The Football Life on Bill Walsh. You know, what went into that team was incredible. They used to script over 25 plays, their first plays, to start a game. Just the level of preparation and, you know, paying attention to footwork and things like that. All the things I don't pay attention to in this video game for sure. I mean, it is amazing what the 49ers did back in the day. Definitely recommend it. All right. And then Davis again, playing a deep zone. And get that slant underneath to him on the crossing pattern. Really had Olsen too. But I felt good enough about the way he was running that pass. He runs a good pattern. Curls. That's counter. We're going to get it right there. I thought it was a counter. Wow, it was not. Interesting. Interesting. That was a counter look. That formation in the goal line against curls. but it was not. But I got it quickly to 1, and Davis is good enough to make the catch. That may be a situation where he might be a bit better than Julio. Better carry, first of all, and better awareness. Might make him turn around for that football more quickly, which may help out. And let's play Lombardi here. And true to Lombardi form, he's throwing it too. Is there anything in there? Yeah, there's enough in there to make me keep the soft counters up. And since Lombardi is Lombardi, and I assume he likes to run, I assume he's going to play to stop the run, but we're about to find out. The little things you think about, just like poker, you know. The little tells. And we'll see how this drive works out for me. Not a counter. And get that nice rollout by Vic. The speed, I just got to use him better, I think. And to Davis. Started to auto run, and I really wanted to run more outside, but not really much out of it. But do get the first down. Yikes. Rocket ball, a little bit too early. Yeah, let's see. The old trusted. And double slants. Just not moving the right way to get that right tackle hooked up on that play. I'm going to go flare. Not a counter look. And kind of rolled right into the pressure there. More pocket awareness by the player was required on that one. And that is it. A little bit of head-to-head for you guys tonight. And yeah, my drives 7-20, and I gave him 6. But look at this. All right, so first drive, so far so good. +4 speed, gotta like it. It really helped out on the play. It shows up at times. It doesn't always show up speed the way people think it is. Just because Ross has 99 speed doesn't mean he's always going to get open. Doesn't mean that pursuit and other things aren't going to make it up. And the fact that he's 5'10", 5'11". But on this play, that was a speed play where, it just made the completion to Olsen and boosted to 95 speed. He made a guy miss, and that was all that it really took. Second play, so he recovered the kickoff. And then this is the first time this has happened to me all year long. Repeaters recovered it in the end zone. So good job, Bump. Very good job. And then we're playing the Spread FL Drag Queens. Boy, I could be a charter member. These guys, number 33, and they're excellent. We've been getting a lot of these tough matchups lately. And the only thing, and they actually, on the search, I research because I don't like to drop guys. So every 25 minutes or so, I'll stop the search and then redo it, to make sure that I don't try to drop people. Well, 5 minutes, if that, into the search, it matched just us up with these guys and dropped one of our members anyway. So tough luck, we get the Spread FL Drag Queens. I do love the name. But these guys, so what these guys do, and this is, as far as I'm concerned, it's perfectly legal. It's just lame, really lame. But what they do is they'll play a guy and they'll run plays. And when they run into a hard counter, then they'll stop. And then somebody else will play. And then they'll run into a hard counter of another play. And then they'll stop. And then the other guy will go, resume his drive, using plays that he knows aren't going to be countered, because once you get to, a certain point, you just know, what the guy's running, and the third guy, and etc. And this is what these guys do. And All I have to say about this is, yeah, that's legal, but I roll my eyes at it. Can't see me right now, but I roll my eyes at it. Really? Do you have to go through all that to win against league ranked number 268? Are you that fearful that finding out what the opponent's counters are on your own and having to do it for yourself and adjust in the next drive, even if you have to drop a drive to do it, that you're going to do that? So it's legal, but it's one of those things, just like everything else. What I'm finding, when I'm talking about these games, obviously I like Madden Mobile enough to keep doing videos about the game. But there is a certain level of competitiveness and lameness that I have found that I'm not capable of attaining. I just don't care enough about it. And I do feel like it's a man thing, It's like, just play the drives against the guy. And if you're going to scout a team, then take a whole drive. You know what I mean? Just take the whole drive, win or lose. It's on you, what you do. I mean, that's the way that I think about it. But these guys are number 33. They're obviously number 33 for some kind of reason. But this is what I find, that the game at the top level, where I finally take a step back and I look at all the work that I've done to put into this game, etc. And don't mean to complain about it. If you guys like the game, then, I want you to like the game, enjoy the game. But I find at a certain point, I find myself saying, man, this is totally pointless. And I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. So, once again, it doesn't look like I'm going to be back next year. This is not the saga of Ice 9. Who the heck cares? These videos are probably going to be it. I'm going to miss my league. I think, that is definitely going to be the case. But it doesn't look like at this time that I'm going to be back. It's time to move on with life, I think. And, the one thing I got to say about EA with all this, and I know I've been very negative at times about this game. Obviously, at some point, I've loved the game too. And so for me, this is unfortunate. But, at a certain period of time after year 3, and just to go into a little bit, of stuff. Year 1, I wasn't playing in a league, but I still got up to a 105 overall. I mean, if you're not playing a league, what do you have to do? Basically, but work on your team and try to, get it as good as possible for whatever reason if you're not playing competitively. But whatever, that was year 1. So I didn't play in a league. I played some head-to-head and kind of quit. It all became about team building, and building the team. And at a certain point in the summer, there was just really a lack of promos, and it got really dry. The economy got really dry, as it tends to do every summer. Just not a lot of promos, not a lot of people playing, not a lot of people opening packs to get things at the auction house. So it just gets really tough, right? First year was really, really tough. I mean, there wasn't, 4th of July promo that I recall or anything like that. There was a lot less promos in general. But anyways, though, there was a method that you could use to make coins at that time, and it was called the guest account method. And what you could do is just, if you had a Apple device, you just don't enable iCloud, and you just start up a guest account, and you could get these challenges that were actually pretty good. They give you a gold trophy, like an 80-yard touchdown run in head-to-head, which is easy at the easy difficulty level. Same thing in season. So you go through, play a season game or two, and get these various challenges. Get a bunch of gold and silver trophies, and do a large quick sell. And, occasionally with those you get lucky and you make some coins. And there was only one auction house the first year. So you could just, buy a player from your main team and just kind of do it that way. So that was something I actually did, and made millions of coins year 1. It's an awful lot of work. But what I found was, and this kind of shaped how I've played since. Okay. Before that, I really worked the auction house hard, especially during positional heroes, buying golds and elites and trying to resell them on positional hero day and as well have enough for myself. Um, there was no bench limit either, so that was something else that you had to take into account. So, just these stocking up on these players that I could get and then just reselling them, knowing, there's one wide receiver left. Well, the thing was, as time went on, at the end of positional heroes, and I was trying to stock up on one of the last weeks, I remember. And by that time, a pattern informed, and there just wasn't enough of a market. Too many people were doing the same thing, buying elites and golds and selling them the day of. When people do that, what ends up happening is naturally undercutting. And, by the time you were losing money, a lot of times they're really not making anything at all after the 10% auction tax to make it worthwhile. That really burnt me out of the auction house because I was working it a ton. I was working it more than I was playing the game. And, that was just something that was really fun for me. Uh, Over the last year, I worked the auction house at times. When I did Silver Metal Master Cam, I mean, that was just incredibly tedious of, 2 weeks of trying to snipe bronzes and silver players per team to try to do this thing, and then buying gold players to do trophy packs to get the trophies for the thing. And I was selling the elites and the golds out of it and just using the silvers and the bronzes that I need and trying to do that to do it that way because I had less than 2 million coins to start when I did that. And that was tedious and monotonous, but at least there was a point. There was an end goal. There was a player that I was going to unlock, by continuing to do that. So I stayed at it. But, that's the kind of stuff that wears at me, And then when they come out with a promo, and what I realized is, I mean, these promos that come out, yeah, some of them are great. We call them great. Draft is great. That still requires either stamina refills, spending money, or coins that you have to get some other way by working the auction house or whatever. And what I'm realizing is that I just want to play. And one thing that has really turned me off this year, first of all, my life is going to be changing, so I'm not going to have the amount of time to spend on the game. That's just, it's fact. I'm not going to have as much time to spend on the game. And just knowing myself, I don't know how casual I could ever be at playing this game. Could I just not, see a promo and see all these shiny new players come out and not be able to get them because I don't have time to play. I have time to play league drives or whatever. And I guess there can be a situation where I just put in enough effort and wait for players to come down and always have a second or third, or I don't even know what a first-rate team is anymore, considering some of the teams that I see. It's just not attainable to me, some of these teams like this, you know. And there's been a little bit of verbal sparring going back and forth with these guys here about some things about scouting counters, and some things were said about buying coins or whatever, but, whatever. You get these number of players by playing the game? No. You got that one by playing the game. That I can guarantee you. So he got that one by playing the game. My goodness. So he's got 4 speed boosters on his team. But everything else is by pack only, pulls, some of them positional heroes. The point is less and less is done by playing this game. I'll give you an example. Easy one for people who played last year. And it was funny because I remember in the league last year, we were all complaining about this event, the trophy event. I think I did a video about this. You might be able to go back and find from last year, the trophy event where you got so many bronzes. It was 5 stamina, but occasionally you would get an elite off of that. At the beginning of this year, there was no such event like that. There was no trophy event to play to get the elites to bring down the prices of elite trophies with all the sets using it. The only way you could get elite trophies is basically by doing the 10 trophy set. That was it. And, I had to sit down and think about it. Man, I've gotten some okay quick sells. I've gotten, a couple 5, 10,000, 20,000 coin quick sells off of live events this year, scrimmages or whatever. So those have been good, but I had to sit down and think about it. I haven't gotten an elite trophy from a live event playing this game all year that I could remember. And I sat and I thought about that, and I was like, wow, that trophy event that they used to run last year that we complained about, because a lot of times you get bronzes. Boy, we were kind of spoiled because you would get golds and elites off of that. Now you have to go through players or basically rip through packs to get those. So it's something that you can't really get by playing the game. You have to get by the auction house, or ideally, as we know, EA wants you to spend money, to try to get some of these items that you want in the game. After a third year of going through this and seeing all that you go through, and I think back at the beginning of the year and roughing it out with silvers, bronzes, and, golds squad for a while, then everything I had to do the hero sets, which was, I was one of the first guys in my league to really do that. I never got the master, and then, built up a little bit more and was able to do some of the other sets in the game, and all that work to do the MVP sets, for example, and all this work that you go through only to see these pack only players end up on certain people's teams. More this week with the pack only player being so much better than this set-based version of the card. It gets old, It gets old, guys. And that's all I got to say, about it. If it was the type of game where my effort and playing the game got me good players, like last year, for example, tier 7s, that was at least 399s. You had to play 2,500 season games as a league to get Hester. But once you did, you got Hester, and if they hadn't come out with Sproles in July with +2 speed, +2 awareness, Hester, I thought, was the one guy who would be on my team all year. And all you had to do collectively as the league was play. This year, they were there at the beginning of the year with the tier 7s, which was a little bit more useful in some ways. But, the players are really disappearing off of everybody's teams. A lot of people are playing a speed booster at fullback. Sherm's just too slow, even though he's good as a dime. He's on a lot of teams, but he's going to be disappearing more and more. And it's just, they're just not. Efert, do we have to say anything more? He was probably the first one to go on a lot of teams because his speed, even though he was better than his stats played, Efert. But it's that whole thing. Every year, the A-level content and the B and the C, and there's more tiers of it now, of content. Some are very attainable, and, a lot of it just isn't really attainable for most people. So we end up playing leagues like this, where we got guys who've got 4 speed boosters. And, I'm the only one in my league who has 2 on the same team. And it's May. It's really late in the year. What's next year going to be like? People tell me, there are people that I know who have an inside scoop on what EA's thinking and what they're trying to do. Ultimately, changes that they know they need to make. They could have done it this week. Changing a couple stats here and there on the set-based players would have done it. It would have shown that they're taking a step in the right direction. Last week, It seemed like the Ultimate Legends, the pack and the boss players were reasonably close in stats. But this week we're back to more of the same where, there's going to be multi levels of content. And even the ones that we have to get, that we can get through sets, we have to work very, very hard for. And we take that for granted now. That wow, this is just a gift that I have to do all these stamina refills. Even though, one stamina day for the draft day was a nice thing, but still, it's amazing how much work that you got to do. So I'm not trying to tell anybody not to, because if you want to play this game at a competitive level, then that's what you're going to do, what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to play well, and you're going to have to do what you need to do. In terms of scouting counters for the other team and stopping drives and waiting for another teammate to go and communicating about all that, that's a little bit more effort than I want to spend or I would demand from my league on a day-to-day level. I think it's at a certain point the game's got to be fun. And, I was thinking about it today, because, when the ULs came out today and I looked at the set and I looked at the boss stats, it was just, Randy Moss boss card all over again, and it just made me mad. It just really made me mad. And it was like, gosh, am I playing this game or is it EA playing me? That is really what it's all about. Now, I want to compete at a high level, but to keep doing this year after year after year and get your team taken away and then having to start from scratch. And here you go. Thank you very much. Here's a legacy event that you'll never pull anything from. And you get a couple unauctionable elites, which they were this year. That was another change they made. The starter packs, you could pick two unauctionable players. You could pick a defensive and an offensive player. Obviously, I took the elites, try to get a couple good players on my team to start off. Unauctionable. Don't want you to make in-game currency from it. Thanks for playing last year, by the way. It just... When people say that EA is changing and is going to make the changes that players want to see, they know their customers are unhappy. They know that they have to do certain things and hit the ball out of the park. With Easter and with draft was the best that I've ever seen. That it was phenomenal, obviously. It was great. Still required a lot of work and or coins, which is the same thing. Coins is work, right? Real money is work, time. But all these pack-only players and all this content that has been like that, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be about, just playing as well as you can. I know I'm not as good as I could be at this game. No doubt about it. But part of it is the game has to be fun. And getting the good content in the game is what's fun for me. And then, okay, so if I'm not a top level guy in terms of working the economy of this game and I don't see the good players, okay, I guess that's just the way it is. I accept that is really what it comes down to. But I don't like it considering how much I've worked and spent money on this game. All I got to say, guys, and I know you guys have heard my commentaries before, but that is really it. Otherwise, I hate leaving my league high and dry, and I would love to play, but it's just going through this year after year after year, and you don't control the platform. You just control your own destiny under the platform and the ridiculous circumstances that it may be. And this game really has, to me, game plans were a big part of it. The differences between overalls and how overall affects gameplay is part of it. Some people say, yeah, I could score on a better teams. So there was somebody posting a thread bragging about that at Mudhead today. What are you bragging about? Of course, there's a little bit of a nerf, but overall, better teams do play stronger. And better teams usually do have better counters and a better game plan. And better teams usually do score more, regardless of the player, who usually is a better player, with a better team. That all kind of goes together. But, the pay-to-play aspect is really too much of it. And you can get around it. I know some people are doing different things to try to get around it. But playing on league to league, if you want to play in a league and that whole social aspect of playing in a league and having a team and a bunch of guys, and that type of thing, you need to have the best team possible this year more than ever if you want to compete on a high level. And, that's really what it comes down to me. It's not EA's fault. It's mine as a consumer for either feeding into it, thinking that I need to have the best team possible, and also, just being serious, want to compete at a high level and not being able to be more casual about it. I just find I can't do that about it. So they made a good enough game to make me competitive. But, at a certain point, the game plays you. That's what I find. It takes advantage of that. And so that's all I want to really say, guys. Based on that, not much of a hope that you'll see me next year. And these videos will be kind of like an archive or whatever. They'll just sit there, I guess. I don't really do much in terms of posting videos on YouTube. And, I'll let them sit there. I won't rip them down for no good reason. But that is it, guys. That is a very long thing and a lot of things I've said before. Hopefully, you guys have some comments for me. Would love to have a discussion with you about it while I'm playing this game. Thanks for watching.